is Joanne, and welcome to the One to Another podcast. Today, we're going to talk about how is your focus. In the grieving process, our focus gets very shredded. It's we can't remember. We make a list, and we can't follow the list. We can't even find the list, and our focus is very tough. And so I wanted to talk for a moment just about how we focus in grief. Focus is the antidote to the frenzy pace of life. When we're not focused, we're overwhelmed, scattered, stretched thin, feeling groggy, disappointed, and scatterbrained. I bet you can all relate to those because that's what happens not only in the frenzy of life, but in the life after grief. Our life is so upside down and inside out that it's so hard for us to focus. And so we are constantly on the treadmill thinking, oh, I've got to get through this. I need more productivity to keep the feelings of dissatisfaction at bay. The end result in our grief, I believe, is to live a calm and focused life. How long does that take? It takes a long time. I found out recently when I was doing some study, when we're trying to move from one to the other, that it takes 63 days to unwire toxic thinking and habits, trauma from the brain. It takes 21 days to make a new habit. So when we're constantly on this treadmill to try to change, we have to realize it takes time, because that is true that the end of our grief is to live a calm and focused life. But focus is good because it directly brings us to many of the things we most desire. When I talk to grieving people, I'll say, what is the thing that you want most? They want a sense of peace, the cultivation of curiosity, the beauty of clarity, and the satisfaction with life and optimism. So when we get focused, it gives us a moment-to-moment clarity. We think, yep, I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to do this task, and I'll do it with clarity. How good it feels to know you're doing exactly what you intended to be doing. That certainly does help us a lot in grief. Focus allows you to choose once and stick to the task until it's completed, or there's a time when you decide you need to stop. Focus encourages a new set of values. It teaches you to appreciate the activity in front of you at the moment and not let your mind wander to what else you might be doing instead. It cultivates patience and depth as you stick with a task long enough to learn its nuances and overcome shallow difficulties. And remember, when we start getting focused, to say, okay, today I want to clean the garage. Well, let's not start with that. Let's say today I'm going to clean one corner of the garage, or I'm going to clean out some drawers in the kitchen. We get focused on what we should and could do instead of thinking of the big picture. We just take the one thing. Focus is the antidote to this frenzy pace of life. It's a way to quiet the nose and distill your energy into a single task, and that's going to take your time. Focus is the mindset of a craftsman at work, while efficiency is the mindset of a machine. Have you ever watched someone that's just focused on their craft? I've been a lot of places where I've watched people do their work, and it's amazing to me that they're so centered on what they're doing that nothing around them distracts them. But while efficiency is the mindset of a machine, I got to get this done. I got to hurry up and get it done. I've got to do this and that. You know what? That doesn't work. I can remember when I was in Korea, I went to the line between North and South Korea. There's a name for it, but I can't think of the name of it right now. But we had to put on these helmets, and we had to put on different shoes because we were going down into the tunnel that actually separates North Korea from South Korea. And as we were down there, there was a military man that had his eyes on the tunnel. The tunnel was lit, and there was glass right where I was, so that if somebody was going to come in from North Korea to South Korea, first of all, they'd have to break the glass. But there was this huge gun, like a machine gun. I'm sorry, I don't know the names of these things, but there was this huge gun, and here was this military person right behind it. And he had his eyes, and he was focused on the tunnel. And that's what he was watching. If anyone from North Korea would be coming down that tunnel and he saw them, that's when I'm sure that the machine gun would go off. But what really impressed me was there was a lot of people down there when I was down there, and one of them was a dignitary, very well known. And you know what? The man watching the tunnel never took his eyes off the tunnel. Doesn't matter who was around him, doesn't matter if it was a well-known dignitary. His job was to stay focused on the tunnel. And I've never forgotten that. And that taught me a lesson that sometimes in our life, we are focusing on what we need to do to move our heart to healing, because we all need to heal. We all need to take the parts of the brokenness and slowly bring them to a place where they move to a place called new normal. But we have a lot of work to do in the meantime. And the focus is learning how to journal, learning how to be in a place where we can express our feelings. Just there's so many different facets to the whole process of growing. And it takes focus sometimes to do the task that's right there to move your heart to just that closer to healing. So focus allows you to take in the beauty of the ordinary, just the ordinary of life, and appreciate the activity in front of you at the moment. So what is it that you need to focus on? Maybe it's writing thank you notes, or maybe it's saying, I need to go to the grocery store. Or maybe it's just taking some time just to walk around the block and let everything else around you just be set aside. I don't know what you need to focus on, but you do. Whatever it is, you know what? I'm going to pray that just one time today, you can take the time to be focused and see some healing happen as you focus on letting go of distraction and saying hello to being absolutely focused on what you need to do now. So you know what? I hope that today you'll take one more step toward healing.